Koji Takeda says, which is better, to pursue fluency or accurate pronunciation? Now, I have to say that to an extent, it's up to you. What do you want? What are your goals? So my general statement would be, you have to know what you're going for in order to make steps toward whatever that is. If you want to be able to watch movies and understand everything that everybody is saying, then make goals around that, and then you can start working on a lifestyle and habits that take steps toward that goal. If your goal is to be able to communicate effectively with your colleagues at work, what does that involve? Does that involve knowing more idioms and phrases because they use a lot? Knowing work-specific vocabulary? Does it involve honing your listening skills so that you don't misunderstand things? Does it involve more clear pronunciation because people frequently misunderstand you? Then those are your goals, and you need to take steps toward those. So I'm not here to say, let me tell you what your goals are. I will tell you what your goals are, and then you follow what I think your goals should be. You should decide that for yourself. What are the issues that you have? And then what are the things inside of those issues that you can start making strides toward? We've talked before about improving your listening skills. If you struggle to understand many of the things that your colleagues in your English-speaking company say, because they speak too quickly or whatever it is, then okay, you need to improve your listening. How do you do that? Well, then you do the exercise where you listen to a clip every day and you try to write down all the words there, right? And you learn idioms and expressions because many of the things you don't understand are also idioms and expressions that are being used that you just don't know. That is how to improve your listening. So that's the big answer, right? That's the main answer. It's up to you. You need to decide. But it's very important for you to go through that process. Because if you just say, today I'll learn a little English here, I'll learn a little English there, I'll learn a few words, learn a few expressions, I'm just wandering around, blah, blah, blah. Well, then you're taking 2 steps over there, and 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 2 steps over there. You're not going anywhere, right? So the first thing is to establish your goal. Then the steps that you take can be in a specific direction toward the goal. You have a star that you can look at so that you're actually making progress. And hopefully then you can measure your progress. All right, so that's one. Now the actual question here, what I think is better to pursue, accurate pronunciation or fluency. Now I'm not sure exactly how to separate those two things, but I assume by fluency you mean the ability to speak clearly without thinking too much and use the language naturally, right, without having to think in your language and translate. That's what I assume you mean by fluency. And pronunciation just means the sounds of the words that you're saying. Are they clear, right? So I would say that as long as people understand you well, then you're kind of okay for pronunciation unless you really want to get good, right? You're okay. Everybody has their own goals. I leave the door open for that. Of course, I'm not here to tell you what your goals should be, but if you find people are saying, sorry, what? Can you say that again? Sorry, what? Please repeat yourself. Then you have to work on your pronunciation. If you've never had that issue and people can hear that you're from Japan when you speak, but they're able to understand you, then is it really the highest priority? I would say probably not, if they can understand you. Instead, maybe your goal should be something like, how can I use the language effectively without having to translate in my head, and I can use some idioms and phrases, I can express my meaning without feeling tired, and I can do that with relative ease. That's more like fluency, in which case I would say that should be the priority, right? So I'm not the type of teacher who will say, everyone must sound like an American. In fact, I think it's weird if someone tries to copy exactly an American. I think it's good to try to learn to speak more clearly and to move closer to a sort of international neutral sound so that people can't clearly point out, very, very strong Chinese accent. But at least it's clear and sounds relatively neutral, right? That's good to work toward. But a higher priority still, I think, would be using the language with ease, without having to work hard, without having to translate. That should be, I think, a higher priority, right? So work toward both, make specific goals around both, try to take steps toward both, but maybe on your list, place the fluency one on a slightly higher level. That would be my advice. Unless in your daily life, you find that no one can understand what you're saying because of your pronunciation, because it's so strong. People say, I'm sorry, I don't understand you. If that's the problem, then maybe focus on that more. But you have to evaluate that for yourself. I don't know how strong your accent is. So just something to think about. Make sure you work on your goals. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Also, check out my full courses in the links in the description.